Welcome to the Post Racing Podcast with Ron Robinson and Sean Travass. Post Racing, the site for winners.
Good afternoon, Sean. At last, I've got somebody to talk to.
Yes. I say it was first sign of madness talking to yourself. Ron. So how is,
I tell you, I don't
how is the
mind
daily
doing.
Go for it.
I don't mind doing these solo podcasts, but it's like I was saying to you before we came on.
Mm-hmm.
I much prefer having somebody to bounce off. It's like you said. I'll say something to you, and you think, I didn't know that, and then we'll jabber about that for a couple of seconds, and it becomes interesting. But when I'm just sitting there going blah 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 for 5 or 6 minutes, hopefully trying to find a winner that I can't actually when I'm doing those solo ones.
Yeah,
I know I've got to say something about a horse that's running on the day, because a lot of people who are members are going to be listening in. And you think to yourself, but I can't give them all the nitty gritty, the good stuff that's highlighted as strong or solid and this type of thing. And this one's really strongly backed, because we've got people who paid for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much indeed for doing that. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, I tell you.
It's not about money grabbing, because you've never been about that. Or
no, never have been.
Simple as that. But you have to differentiate between those who are paying for the full package and those who are listening into the podcast for nothing. So you have to sort of hint towards things, maybe chuck him a bone now and again, like what?
Yeah,
this one here, we give them we give them winners. Like you had a good weekend last weekend, I had a lousy weekend last weekend, but that's just the way it goes. But we give them winners and we give them a profit, and anyone who listens to the podcast gets that for nothing. They're not getting anywhere near to what they would get if they signed up, of course.
Oh, nowhere near it. No,
but that's how it is. And
there's one of the OMs that I'll be speaking about later. I was really keen on, because I'd marked it up as solid. Even though it was against a horse that I'd marked up as strong, I still like these horses that are solid, in brackets, indicated as this horse has been punted and it's going nowhere now in the market, you know?
I wish I was more up to date. I had more time to follow them myself in a bit more detail.
I wish I did as well.
I'll be phoning in from my yacht in the south of France instead.
Yeah, you would know. Yeah.
But what we have found this week, ladies and gentlemen, are you sitting down? You need to be sitting down for this, because we've actually found some decent good news to talk about.
Here we have. Yeah.
And we're going to start with the number one man, Mr. Michael Appleby.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I heard it on the TV, I thought, podcast, send you a message.
You did.
Mick Appleby, top trainer at Goodwood. What were the odds of that?
Yeah. What a bloke.
I imagine he would have been classed under others on application.
Yep, 66 to 1 bar.
Was he?
You would imagine he was. Like, Mick's a lovely bloke for starters. Let's get that crystal clear. He's a really nice bloke. In my humble opinion, he doesn't get, well, he has recently, but generally speaking, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And he doesn't get the multi-million-pound yearlings that perhaps his abilities deserve. But what a good one he had. And what did we have? We had Big Evs, didn't we?
Big Evs and Big Mojo.
Yeah, Big Mojo. Mr. Lightside third in the same race. He had a couple of handicaps as well, with Kitai at 16 to 1 and Shergar at 7 to 2. Yeah. Unlucky when Billy Joe failed to get a clear run, when second in the Whirlpool handicap, and then it ran third in the Stewards Cup 3 days later. with no offence to
that horse was one of my something for the weekends the weekend before that.
Yep.
Oh, that week.
Timed it wrong. Yeah, no, he's a fantastic trainer. And actually, I haven't got the stats in front of me because I didn't bother to dig them out because I'm far too lazy. But you will also find, if you look at his cast-offs from other yards, when he buys cast-offs from other yards, he has a remarkable success rate. And more importantly, makes loads of profit for anyone who follows them.
There's a group of guys, they call themselves the Horse Watchers. And you'll know them from Racing TV. I've forgotten Chris Dixon and his brother and a couple of other people. And what they do is that they look around for horses. They know that they can get improved. They're very shrewd lads, really on the ball. And they work not solely with Mick Appleby, but primarily with Mick Appleby. And he's got these, I don't know, class 5 handicappers, and they've ended up in Group 1s. He is different gravy, really good trainer.
And he doesn't get around. I said we all expected. We all thought Appleby might be the leading trainer, but we were thinking Charlie.
Charlie.
not me. I mean, we think he was, we're talking about Glorious Goodwood here. He's up against the Goslins, Aidan O'Brien, Charlie Appleby, Michael Stout, Sir Michael Stout, all people like that. He's up against that. And no, he ends up as the leading trainer at the meeting. And not just with, there are no lowly handicaps at Goodwood, but not just with his handicappers, with Big Ebbs and in the Moulcombe again as well. Yeah. So hats off to the guy for being as talented as he is. And let's hope that some of the other owners start thinking, I might send some better bred horses to Mick and see what he can do.
Yeah, well, you've no need to send them all to Gosden and Sir Michael Stout and people like that, where they're probably charging twice as much to train the same horse,
Might be, don't know on that one. So
no, that's a guess.
not going to dig deep and get into legal issues on that one. Thank you very much. Next up, young Saffie, well, not so young, but young Saffie Osborne.
Yeah, another one. Last weekend, I noticed 3 winners for 3 different trainers. Sent you a message, podcast. And then she carried on riding winners on the Sunday. I looked at her stats before we came on. Yesterday, at that Racing League nonsense at Chepstow, she got 3 winners for 3 different trainers again.
Wow, I didn't even catch that because I wrote that before. That, but
unbelievable. Her last 47 rides have produced 12 winners, 26% strike rate. No fewer than 20 of those 47 rides have finished in the first 3.
Wow.
This season, she's had 424 rides. She's ridden 67 winners, and 171 of those 424 rides have finished in the first 3. And she currently has a level stake profit of 19.41 points, all rides. That is stunning. And wait till you go and have a look when everybody's finished here. Go and have a look at her stats for when she's riding horses aged 4+ on turf.
Yeah.
She's nearly £50 level stake profit this season.
Yep.
On horses aged 4+ on turf. Brilliant.
It's nicked my thunder again because that's what I'd written down when I wrote this. When I wrote this before the Chepstow meeting, she was at 52 points profit. Yeah. And 64 winners on board overall. 52 points profit if you backed all her rides on 4-year-olds and older. Yeah. Do you think she gets the credit she deserves?
No, because Holly Doyle's around. And again, I looked at Holly's stats for the same period. She's had 7 winners from her last 48 rides, just a 15% strike rate. And 4 of her 7 winners all went off favourite. And one of those was 1-14 last night. I could have won on that.
Yeah.
I think what it is, Saffie's the daughter of Jamie Osborne.
Yep.
And he is one of the best jockeys I've ever seen on a steeplechaser. I used to love it when he was riding 2-mile novice chasers because you knew he would educate them to the minute and they would run for him. And you can see it in the way Saffie rides. She's got exactly the same skill sets. She's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to be more controversial than you and say I think it's not necessarily Holly, but I still think that there's an underpinning of sexism in the racing industry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And she's a girl. She can't possibly be as good as a bloke. Now, I'm going to put my hand up and say I've been saying for years that Saffie's a good jockey.
Yeah.
And it's appeared on podcasts, so I can back that up. I don't think she gets the ride she deserves. I mean, she's got all the ability, but there's still an undercurrent of can't be as good as a bloke. Now,
I've got a feeling this is going to change, because in the last 2 weeks, Sir Michael Stout's given her 5 rides.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how many lady jockeys have ever ridden for Sir Michael Stout in good races on the flat. And I'm talking listed and group races as well.
Yeah.
Okay, the horses that she's been on have been long shots and they've run as well as you would expect them to run. But the fact is, he still put her up on them.
I think the thing is, there's a sort of historical viewpoint that women don't have the strength of men. And physically, that's probably not an unreasonable thing to say.
Oh.
When you look at what's going on with the controversy with the boxing.
I was just going to say that.
Etc. So it's not an unreasonable thing to say. And it's certainly not meant with any sexist undertones from me. However, certain jockeys, male or female, horses just run for them.
Yeah.
And other jockeys, they can still ride winners, but they don't necessarily have that touch. Now, I don't know whether certain horses like lady jockeys as opposed to male jockeys. That's not a possibility. I'm not a horse, so I can't really comment on that. But they've proved they've got the ability. It's not all about brute force and ignorance, as my dad would say today. And she's got the ability. And again, back to the Mick Appleby thing, give her the rides and she'll give you the winners. She's proved that already. So fingers crossed that her career continues to go from strength to strength and in the right direction, and that she gets given more and better rides. Because the other thing to remember when you're looking at any jockey, male or female, is that their income is largely based on their percentages from when they ride winners.
Oh yeah.
They would struggle to make a good living, and they deserve a good living. They're putting their life on the line every day, just from their riding things. Especially if you're, without being rude to Saffie, on a lot of meetings she'll get 2 rides, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3. A rarity, and I can't back this up with facts. I haven't looked. I would imagine a rarity that she gets a full book of rides. So she needs to win races to supplement her income, as do all jockeys, and she deserves the chance to be in £100,000 races, looking to pick up her percentage of that, rather than riding in £6,000 races, winning them, and everyone saying how good she is, and picking up a percentage of of nothing really.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, Saffie, if you're listening in, which is highly unlikely.
I'll send her the link.
A bit too busy riding horses and winners to listen to us. But good luck to you, and I hope it all goes well. It's been proved over recent years that women are just as good as men in the saddle, and that the winners are there and the jockeys are there. So
absolutely,
let's go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, talking of lady jockeys and other things of that ilk,
yeah.
Ron's favourite next, and I'm going to let him go first on this one. The Shergar Cup this weekend.
Yeah, like you say, not for punters, ? But some serious talent on show. Well, absolutely. I'll be honest. Until I started prepping for the podcast today, I'd not even looked at it.
No,
and then I read a story this morning about a dead bloke that's riding in in several races tomorrow. Jose Luis Borrego. Well, I mean, his heart stopped beating for 7 minutes after a fall at La Zarzuela in Madrid. Thankfully, the on-course doctor didn't give up on him. And he's going to fulfill his dream tomorrow of riding at Ascot. And the best of luck to him. I don't know how old he is now, but I'll tell you what, he's a bit grey. Now, 2 things stop me betting here. First, teams. I don't do teams in horse racing. I don't know what the instructions are. There has to be instructions, otherwise why have a team? And if your team can stop another team winning a race by just slightly edging left or slightly edging right and letting you through on the rail, what's to stop you doing it? So I don't even get involved from a betting angle. And there's also so many jockeys that I know absolutely nothing about. I don't even have the time to find out about them. So, I mean, who is Borizan Murzabayev? I've never heard of him. And I haven't got time to find out about how good a jockey he is or isn't. And then you've also got reserves lined up. And I'm thinking, I just can't be dealing with it, I'm afraid. It won't even be on my screens.
Well, I'm not coming round to it. That'd be the wrong thing to say. From a punter's perspective, I agree. But then I've also sort of written in my article, for my own article, if you like, it's not just about punters. I mean, what we do might be, but it's also about the spectacle and the colours and getting new people involved. And I can see that. Well, I don't understand why they have teams and don't just call it, like other countries do, an international jockeys challenge.
Yeah.
And then everybody's riding for themselves.
That's what I do.
Four rides each or whatever, and then you add the points up to see who's the top jockey, and there's a £10,000 prize for want of a number. Don't understand why they do that. I'd be interested in what you said on the teams. I might even bring it up with the BHA when I'm chatting with them, so I don't think it's something that they'd want on an email particularly. Are they allowed to ride as teams, or when the BHA rules state that every horse must be ridden on its merits? So does that rule disappear for the Shergar Cup?
Yeah.
And they are allowed to ride as teams, or are they all supposed to ride on their merits? I know one thing you have got as a team.
I just keep referring to the Grand Prix, where was it last weekend or the weekend before? Guys, well clear. Instruction comes over, pull over, let the other bloke through, and you think to yourself, but what if somebody's had a bet on him to win that Grand Prix?
Ditto the triathlon at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, funnily enough, but my understanding is that one of the Brits did something in the cycling race, not nothing wrong, but like helped to lead the leading Brit to get him a good time so that he could then finish the last leg and win the gold medal, which he did. Now, that's okay unless you back the other guy who's basically sacrificed his race to assist it. Ditto the Tour de France when they all have teams and go off hell for leather to make sure that their guy finishes in the first 5 and keeps the lead in the Tour de France or whatever. Anything like that is not something I'd want to bet on, and I won't. Well, actually, I will be opening my wallet for the Shergar Cup. I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I don't just have international jockeys. There's some real talent out there. We've got 4 teams: Europe, Great Britain, Ireland, ladies, and the rest of the world, which is actually 2 ladies anyway. But never mind. The one I'm going to be cheering on, when I was out of South Africa and actually when I was in Saudi, bit of a name dropper there, sorry. I run into Rachel Venneker, who's the South African star. I don't think I can call her a girl. That's not acceptable, is it? But she's so much younger than me. That's the first name that comes to mind. She's a lovely young lady. She's very humble, very modest, happy to talk to the media, if a little shy, but racing and riding winners is her game. Make no mistake, she will have watched, I know for a fact, she will have watched hours and hours of videos of races at Ascot before she came here. She was looking, when I spoke to her in early July, she couldn't wait to come over for the Shergar Cup and to ride against the others. She's still excited about the fact she won a race in Saudi and finished ahead of Ryan Moore, who's her hero. So she would have done absolutely everything. She's a breath of fresh air, and I can't wait for if the time comes when she decides to up sticks from South Africa potentially and come to ride maybe in Europe, maybe in America, I don't know where, or she may just stay in South Africa. But she's got a book of rides that currently priced at 11-1, 7-1, 40-1, 25-1, and 9-2. And I'm going to have a 10p lucky 31, or something. Well, because if one of those, if the horse is good enough, trust me, she's good enough.
She's good enough, yeah.
I have no doubts about that whatsoever. She will be the next big name jockey in racing, full stop, if she decides to come and transfer her skills to somewhere else. And of course, just like Saffie, if she's given the rides, which is the imperative thing. You could stick Lewis Hamilton in a Morris Minor. He's not going to win a Grand Prix, is he?
No, still beat me though.
She'll need the rides and she'll need the support, but I think she'll get it if she wants to come across. I think trainers will support her. In fact, I'm confident trainers will support her. And she's really, really good. So will I be watching the Shergar Cup? Honest answer, no, because I'm coming up your way tomorrow. I'm heading up to Liverpool.
Oh, are you?
My son and I, my youngest son and I, are going up to watch Everton against Roma.
Oh, right. I'll enjoy that one.
In a friendly at Goodison Park. So the truth is, I'll be in the car for most of the Shergar Cup, so I'll be recording it to watch later. But all I can say is I hope Rachel rides a win or two, or at least hits a couple of places and people catch on to just how good she is, because she is top class and I cannot speak highly enough of her. There you go. That's that bit out of the way.
Yeah.
No bad news there.
No, I think it was all good. A bit iffy at the end, but generally good. Yeah.
On to the racing on Saturday.
Can I find another 25-1 into 14-1 winner? Probably not.
Yes, well, I was waiting for him to blow his trumpet on that one, but I can't blame you, to be fair. That was a good call, without a shadow of a doubt. But have you got one for the 3 o'clock at Haydock, which is our first race? Yeah,
but it's a Group 3. Only 7 go into post. We've got a really short price favourite in a horse called Anmart, who we've not seen for 439 days. But when we last did see him, he was winning the Prix d'Ispahan.
Yep.
He's the winner of 6 of his last 8 races. And in the other pair, he finished runner-up. He's one of those horses that give all owners a bit of hope, because he was winning the Class 3 handicap at Bath 2020, 2021. And he's graduated to the d'Ispahan in less than 2 seasons. That's not bad going. He actually won this race in 2022. He's a 6-year-old, and last season Al Arsi became the first winner in the last decade older than 5 to win this race, and he too was a 6-year-old. I don't see a particular age group bias here. The last 4 winners have been aged 3, 4, 5 and 6. Prior to that, 3, 4 and 5. Weight ranges don't apply here either. I'm looking to see how the market performed. 3 of the last 5 winners returned as favourite. 6 of the last 9 winners were front 3 on the tissue, and 5 of those were in the front 2 on the tissue. I'm happy going front 2 here, because not least they're trained by Owen Burrows and William Haggis, who've had 3 of the last 5 winners between them. So it's one of Anmat or Al Mub here for me. You can Dutch them, you'll make a profit. The solo play for the podcast has to be Anmat. Not been out of the first 3 home in 12 races under rules, winning 7 of them. He's racing off level weight with Al Mub here, but is officially £6 the better horse. The one negative I've got is that he does appear to be brittle. He's only had 5 races since September 2021. Owen Burrows does know when to put him on the track, and I'm going to trust his judgment here. I'm going with Anmat.
Yeah, I can't actually disagree with you on the form book. However, I did a little bit of research onto why he's been off the course, and he had a foot injury, a niggling foot injury. And Owen Burrows is actually quoted as saying that he'd like the ground to be good or softer before he runs in again. Now, the current going officially is good to firm. Who knows what it'll actually be on the day, of course. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he's pulled out.
Really?
That would not surprise me. There's also the fear factor that he might not let himself down. If he's returning from an injury on this sort of ground, will he let himself down? Now, if he does, then he probably is the likeliest winner. I can't pretend he isn't. But there's enough niggling question marks against him that I'm going to have a little each way, because there's 7 runners, so first and second will do for me, on Lord North. Now,
good old Lord North.
I know he's an 8-year-old and he's not the horse he once was, before anybody tells me that. That's fair comment. But the Goslings don't keep him in training because they don't think they can get another win or two out of him. I'm sure they do. He's already a course and distance winner. He won't mind the ground. He won't mind the trip. And expecting him to return to his very best would be naive at the extreme. I accept that. But at his best, he was rated 1-2-4. Now, that would put him £8 superior to Anmat at level weights. Now, expecting him to get to that level is, as I said, naive. But he's only got to find about £3 to match Anmat, who may not like the ground. So at the prices, 15-8 Anmat, 5-1 Lord North, it's a no-brainer for me in the never-ending hunt for value. Doesn't necessarily mean you find winners, but I'm always looking for value. And if they can get Lord North back to his best, 5-1 is too big if Anmat doesn't give his all on that ground. So Lord North for me each way at 5s. Hits the front 2, we get our money back, find a quarter of the odds, which you should be able to on a Group 3. You'll make a small profit, and then you've got your win bet running for nothing.
Yeah.
So Lord North for me, if he doesn't get in the first 2 here, then I wouldn't be surprised if they retired him, to be honest.
Yeah. He was well back last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alaska's. I think
he's been running in good class races all
he has.
Life,
Yeah.
And maybe that's me being wishful thinking that he could reach one last swan song, maybe.
Yeah.
But, there's enough doubts about Anmat. Anmat was my first choice. When I started going through the race, he was my first choice. And then I went back through it saying, well, why hasn't he been on the track? Yeah. And it's a foot injury, and I'm worried that he might either exasperate that or not be willing to give his all. I'll be honest, I've got the same niggles going on in my head, but I've got my stats and my trends, and they all point to him, so I have to go with him. And that's why we have a shared podcast, because we come up with different opinions for different reasons. Yeah. And that's half the fun of the world, isn't it? It is and all. On to the 305 at Newmarket, which is a bit of a reason. When I saw you'd put in brackets handicap, I thought, lovely. I've been really looking forward to working with a double figure field, but we're just down to 9. Yeah, sorry. By crikey, it's a poor race, The 5 at the top of the weights have not even placed in their last 14 races combined this season. It's another weak race for trends and stats too. Winners in the last 9 years, age 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. But if you pin me to a wall and put a gun to my head, I'd suggest we've got to run with the 3 and 4 year olds. Mm-hmm. They've accounted for 7 of the last 9 winners. So weight ranges definitely point me in the direction of horses carrying between 9.2 and 9.7. That would have seen us betting the last 5 winners and 6 of the last 9. Market position. In the last decade, just 2 have returned SPs bigger than 13-2. And the tissue I'm looking at suggests our winner then is one of Bobby Bennu and Al Zahir. They're both the right age, both the right market position, both got the correct weight. But my way in here is that the last 4 years I've seen this race won by 3-year-olds trading favourite. And Bobby Bennu fits a profiling as well as any could here, better than most. And he's only had 3 runs. He's won his last 2, very lightly raced, 3-year-old in a handicap. And we know what they've been doing this season. Yeah, I'm going with Bobby Bennu. Yeah, apologies for the small field in the class of some of them, to be honest with you. I always look for the handicap that's the better class with the biggest early.
I blame the Shergar Cup.
But I had a look through this, and you can blame Ron for this because I started going through stats. It's his fault. We haven't seen a winner priced longer than 10-1 in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Interestingly, every one of those winners came home in the first 7 on their last start. And that instantly takes out about 5 of the 9.
Yeah.
So, which isn't good. All were rated 85 to 97. And if we use just those, we get rid of 6 horses. It leaves us Bobby Benu, Al Zahir, and 50 Nifty. None of the trainers have won this before in that 10-year period, I should say. None of the jockeys have won it in that 10-year period, so that makes life easy, isn't it? But Roger Varian has had a place. So I'm with Bobby Benu as well. I'm sorry to give you bad news.
Yeah, I thought you would be.
Lightly raced, son of Phoenix of Spain, won 2 of his 3 starts, won very easily at Chester before holding on when all out at first to win by a short head. I'm hopeful that was down to the softer ground. He wasn't as impressive that day, quite frankly. But he gets, as things stand, because this is the British weather we're talking about, as things stand, he gets better ground here. And a mark of 95 is not a good mark. On what he's done so far, that is not a good mark. But I do suspect there's improvement to come. And he's largely up against pretty out of form horses, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And as you say, with the 3, and as the 3-year-old as well, gets all the allowances, I think he's got every chance. I think 50 Nifty might be the one to follow him home. But it's not much of a race for the, what we got, 13,000 first prize, and it's a class 2 at Newmarket of all places. Beautiful course of July if you haven't been there. Yeah, I think Bobby Benu for me. Tissue price is 5-2 on the Sporting Life, 7-2 on the Racing Post. Interesting that they haven't priced it up.
I know, I was thinking that, yeah.
Normally by now, the Racing Post, which is my Bible, if you like, because I know my way around it better than any of the other sites, there's a set of best prices sitting in the right-hand column labelled odds. But we have absolutely nothing now. We had absolutely nothing yesterday. So we're a bit stuck on what we're talking about. It could be 5-2, could be 5-1. That's probably wishful thinking. But yeah, it is. But Bobby Benu for me, Sylvester de Souza's reborn since he's come back from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And riding as well as ever. Every reason to like him. Is he a good thing? It's a handicap, so he can't be a good thing, can he? But I think he's got every chance of a success. So we're both agreeing on that one, Ron. What's going on?
I don't know. 2 points that one.
On to the 325 at the Curragh.
Yeah, now I'll tell you what. This has been a good race for the Brits in the last 10 years. We've won 2 of the last 4 and gone over to take this prize. And in 2015, Tim Easterby also sent Matmu over to scoop this pool. The winners of 5 of the last renewals of this race were ridden by UK-based riders. And just as an aside, the winners in 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022 all started with the letter G. How funky is that?
Weird.
That suggests the best of the Irish will probably be Give Me the Beat Boys.
Sounds that way.
I wonder if he'll come out as a profile selection here. UK trainers, well, obviously they don't train Give Me the Beat Boys. They've got the front 3 on the tissue. And the 4th best is Give Me the Beat Boys. 7 of the last 10 winners were drawn 5 or lower. I'm thinking that's important. As is returned SPs, we do get the odd shocker. But 6 of the last 9 winners were 8-1 or shorter, with 6 going off 5-1 or shorter. Everything does point to a UK winner here. They're all 5-1 or shorter, all drawn 5 or lower, and the winner is going to be one of Electric Storm, Kind of Blue, and Shartash. You can Dutch them for a little profit. I'm liking Shartash myself. Recently purchased by Wathnan Racing. He was winning a course, and he actually won over course and distance when he was trained by Johnny Mercer. Ran a blinder in France recently, and before that was only beaten 5 lengths and change in the Group 1 Jubilee Stakes at Royal Ascot. He's the best of the 3 on official ratings, £10 clear of the one that's trading favourite on the tissue that I could see, Electric Storm.
Yep.
But he only has to give that horse £3 tomorrow. Kind of Blue came up just short in Group 3 last time out, having run a real monster of a race in the Commonwealth Cup at Royal Ascot the time before. Now, he's actually the best horse on official figures by £2, but both of his wins so far have come in Class 5 events, while Shartash won a Group 2 here in 2022. I'm going to go with Shartash. I think he's around about 5-1. Go 2080.
Yeah, I actually don't blame you. When I wrote this, there were no prices up. And I'm bitterly disappointed and confused by why Electric Storm is trading 7-2 favourite.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
I can't see that. On official ratings, £8 short of Kind of Blue, the second favourite, and only has to give Kind of Blue £1.
Yeah.
So I can't see that. Moss Tucker's the highest rated horse, but most of his form his best form's over 5, and the 6 might find him out.
Didn't he win this race last season?
Yeah, I mean, he's a course and distance winner, but most of his better form recently has been over 5, so I'm not sure he won't get found out in a fast run 6.
Yeah.
I'm on Electric Storm largely because the Ryan Moore factor. It sounds a stupid thing to say, but by definition, riding for Aidan O'Brien, he knows this track better than any of the other any of the English jockeys coming over other than himself. So I had Electric Storm. I'll stick to Electric Storm because you should never change your mind.
No.
But I don't like the price. I can't see why I was thinking we were going to get 6-1 or something like that for each way purposes, perhaps.
Yeah.
But no, 7-2. Only beating the short neck at Deauville last time out. Daughter of Knight of Thunder. So the faster ground wouldn't go amiss, to be honest with you. Won 3 of her 5 starts, and there's every chance there's more improvement to come now. Either someone else thinks there's more improvement to come, which is why she's trading at favourite, or it's just the Moore factor. Not sure which one it is. Don't like the price, but I've gone for Electric Storm, and I can't see any sensible reason to change my mind at the last minute. But I really don't like the price, I'm afraid. But never mind, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, we shall see. Yep, Electric Storm for me, and let's move swiftly on before I do any more moaning to the 340 at Newmarket.
Yeah, we had a 66-1 winner of this in 2020. But like any race, it can throw up the occasional anomaly. Even the Derby does that. Richard Hannon and Mark Johnston, they actually farmed this race between 2014 and 2019. 5 of those 6 winners they had between them. And Charlie Johnson won it on the joint licence in 2022. But neither yard's represented tomorrow. I bet you they're a bit miffed. If you take the 66-1 shot out of the equation, only one other winner in the last 10 years has returned bigger than 7-1. And I've got only 2 horses qualifying as having any squeak at all tomorrow. Lake Victoria and Mountain Breeze. It's 8-1 bar that pair as I'm writing. The market is headed by the Aidan O'Brien trained Lake Victoria, with the Godolphin runner trained by Charlie Appleby. Neither have got their top jockeys on board because they are obviously elsewhere. O'Brien, he's not sent anything for this in the last 10 years, but Appleby has. He sent 8, but he's only had 3 managed to place. He's not had the winner of it as yet. I don't think he sends his best horses for this one. For that reason, but with not a lot of confidence, I'm going with the once raced filly, who does have the form of a win at the Curragh. It's been given a good boost when the runner-up Red Letter absolutely bolted in not so long ago by over 4 lengths. That was around about 2 weeks ago. I've got to go with Lake Victoria. It looks the most likely winner.
Yeah, I'm all over Lake Victoria like a rash.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Ryan Moore's on duty in Ireland, so Sean Levy gets the ride on the Daughter of Frankel. I think that she could be absolutely top class. This is Group 3. I think she's Group 1. Yeah. I genuinely do. I watched her first start at the Curragh. She was as green as you'll ever see a horse. Yeah. Honestly, her head was coming back at Ryan all the way through. She was wandering. Her head was looking all over the place. And yet she quickened up in an amazing style and just shot 4 or 5 lengths clear. Was gone. Absolutely gone. And she wasn't head down and gone. She was messing about and still gone. In the end, she idled in front, was wandering around a little bit, and only held on late home from the fast finish, as you say, Red Letter, who's won easily since. They pulled 4 lengths, well, close to 4 lengths clear of the rest in a 15-runner field, which is a rarity, really. As you say, the runner-up won next time out with ease. I think that form looks way above average for a maiden. I genuinely wouldn't be at all surprised to see her go on to be looking at competing in the 1,000 Guineas next year. I thought that she quickened up that nicely. Yeah. I was really, really taken with her. So,
but you know what? Before
if she's learnt,
go on. Sorry, go on.
If she's learnt from that, she was green. She did show all the signs of inexperience. Yeah. If she's learnt from that, as most horses do, then she can only go forward. I'm not even convinced she needs to do any more than that. No. But I think she will go forward from that, and I think I think she should win. Nice and simple.
Yeah, I was going to say before we came on, I was going to look for a price for next year's 1,000 guineas because I just had that niggling feeling that she's that type of horse as well.
She did look good. We don't really know, other than the runner-up, what she's beaten.
No.
To be fair, trying to look at the other side of the coin and be a little bit negative, if you like. But she was just really impressive. And horses not all horses win races. They don't all quicken up like that. And when you think back to your Frankels and horses like that, you're watching horses where the jockey turns the tap and there's a devastating burst of foot. I seem to remember it was John Gosling who said about Frankel, doesn't matter how they ride him, he's got a 2 furlong burst and nothing can live with him in that 2 furlongs. Nothing at all. I'm not saying she's another Frankel, but she seems to have taken after her dad in that respect. And if she can put that turn of foot to good use on what may be slightly softer ground, then I think she's class. I'm looking for, that's the one race I will definitely be watching the recording of. And back to the Curragh.
Yeah.
The 435.
Yeah, it's near £200,000 first prize, and we've only got 6 racing for it. Do you know, if I was running this gaff, I'd halve that prize money and throw the other 50% at the lower class races. Give smaller owners and trainers a chance to win a decent pot. I bet that would probably go down like a lead balloon at Coolmore. Yeah. Now, they've got the odds-on favourite running for them here, Whistle Jacket.
Yeah.
Was expected to win at Royal Ascot. I think it went off odds-on, but was well stuffed by my profiling selection, does I get that in, shareholder, who put a right spanner in those works. I think going up to 6 furlongs next time helped when he was sent back to Newmarket for the July Stakes. That's a Group 2 for juveniles. He bolted in. The market, and that's all I can trust here for profiling purposes, says the winner is one of Whistle Jacket or Babouche. One of those two will win it tomorrow. It's currently 9-1 bar the pair, but I've got to go with the favourite, I'm afraid. I've got no idea how good Babouche is. She arrives 2 from 2, gone off favourite on both occasions, but has yet to race outside of Group 3. And I imagine Aidan O'Brien's got her number anyway, because the horse she beat by half a length last time out in the Anglesey Stakes was a stable companion of Whistle Jacket called Camille Pissarro, who, like I say, was only beaten half a length. Now, Camille Pissarro's only rated just 97. Whistle Jacket's going off 111 tomorrow. That's a full stone better than Camille Pissarro.
Yeah.
So if you take all that literally, Babouche needs to improve a bundle to beat the colt. And he's only got to give her £3. I can't see past Whistle Jacket. I think he's a certainty.
Yeah, I don't think could be proved wrong in time. I don't think Whistle Jacket is anywhere near one of the best Aidan O'Brien.
Oh, no.
Colts by any stretch of the imagination. And this is a Group 1, so he's stepping up. He was rushed off his feet in the Norfolk. Everything happened too quickly for him over the 5 furlongs. It's as simple as that, which was a bit disappointing because, obviously he was expected to win. Up to 6 furlongs next time out, as you say. Won fairly comfortably. He wandered around a little bit, but he won fairly comfortably, I suppose. Aidan's won 5 of the last 10 run-ins of this. They'll want to get a Group 1 out of this one. His Whistle Jacket's a No Name Never, which is sort of one of their sires of choice at the moment. So if they can get Group 1 wins, then he's got a career at stud straight afterwards, or whenever they decide to send him away. Likes to make the running. He did hang badly last time. That is a concern. However, they now know he can do that, so they will potentially run him in a special bit that stops him hanging, or they'll change the headgear or the bridle in some way or form within the rules. I can't imagine they won't do that, having seen him do it before. He's impossible to oppose, but I really don't think he's top class.
No,
I'd be surprised if he is. And we mustn't forget, looking at that field, we look at that and go, oh, yes, he should easily win it, and correctly so. But it is a Group 1, and this is his toughest task yet. So should he be odds on? I don't think he should.
No. Not
really. But then again, as you say, it's not much of a field against him. So Arizona Blaze could go well at 14-1. We haven't got enough runners there to bother thinking about an each way alternative.
No.
I think Arizona Blaze could go well. Shadow Army first time cheap pieces for Richard Fahey with James Doyle in the saddle. Another who could improve, I suppose. I'm looking, needle in a haystack time, I suppose. I'm looking for something to oppose Whistle Jacket with. And the truth is I can't find one.
No.
So I'm with Whistle Jacket as well. I really don't like that price. He won't be carrying any of my money.
No. You do realise that's 3 we've agreed on.
I know something's wrong in the world, isn't it? It must be a sign of the second coming or Armageddon or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It very rarely happens. But we just in case anybody wonders, we do write all these down totally separately, and we don't discuss it at all until not even that podcast time. It comes out in the wash as we talk. You might think it's scripted, but it's not, honest. Yeah. So Whistle Jacket for me, but with not at the price. I don't like the price. I won't be putting my own money on him. But if you want to put him in accumulators, he's the likeliest winner. Yeah. And so it's time for Uncle Ron, great Uncle Ron, just to get that in. Press that button, sir.
It's been a good week for the OMS, and it's just as well because we've had virtually no rated races. 2 days of this week with no rated races. But the OMS have come good. The first one I'll put up is Coconut Bay, 9-1 into 6-1 in the newsletter. Won at 5-1. Second one is a horse called Merry Jig, 11-1 into 5-1 in the newsletter. It won at 5-1. And the last one yesterday, Mickey Mouse Meeting, Yarmouth, Zenzig, 20-1 into 10-1 in the newsletter. Advised as being solid, which is something I like. It won at 10-1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been relatively happy with the OMS this week. The racing has been abysmal. The fact that we've found anything has been miraculous.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what class the race it is, or whether it's at a Mickey Mouse Meeting, is irrelevant if it wins and you can get a couple of quid on it.
Yeah, I actually said that in a newsletter through the week. If you got a 5-1 winner on the Derby, it pays exactly the same as a 5-1 on Class 6 at Brighton.
Exactly. Though possibly less on the tote. But, no, yeah. I shouldn't say that. There's just been some ridiculous. There's not, the tote is off track a bit there. I watched the tote and the jackpot somewhere wasn't won. Fair enough, these things happen. And you say like 1,300 was carried forward. Well, that means that only £1,300 worth of bets went into the jackpot.
Yeah.
That's pathetic, isn't it? Really?
It's rubbish.
Go to Hong Kong. It's like 3 million quid in the pot on every race. Madness, anyway. Okay, something for the weekend, sir.
Yeah, I'm putting up an each-way double this week. And Andy, don't miss it, mate. He missed last week's La Trinidad. He was kicking himself on Facebook. Each-way double, Bobby Bennu and Shartash.
Yeah. If Andy wants a kick in, he's only got to come round here, or just go out on the march somewhere. But yeah, sorry, that's a bit of politics. Mustn't do that. Yeah, not much of a price for me, I'm afraid. It just has to be one of those weekends. But Lake Victoria, 340 at Newmarket for me. I just so taken with her. The more I watched the replays, the more taken I was, because in my opinion, the way she actually raced lost her so many lengths, and yet she still won. So if she improves for that, as you would expect her to with any experience, then I think she could be top class. We'll wait and see, won't we? Egg on my FaceTime, but still. Never mind. Anything else to discuss before we sign off?
No, I'm done and dusted. I'll see if I can improve on the content for the solo podcast that I'm putting out. I might just add a little bit of a news item or tell you what's going on with our fantasy football league or little things like that. But other than that, nothing more today, my mate.
Well, all I can add to that is all those of you who don't like our bad news stories and like our good news stories, you need to be told that the podcast is shorter this week because good news stories are obviously quicker to talk about than bad news stories. So if you want a longer podcast, we're going to have to put some bad news stories in next week.
We'll sort that out for next week.
I'm sure we'll have no trouble sourcing some, that's for sure. Yeah. We might even talk about the fixture list, so that's a bit complicated. Right. I gather that we're supposed to be having some of the hottest days of the year this weekend.
We are. Watch for going changes.
Yeah, watch for going changes. In all honesty, unless you really fancy something in the first race at any meeting, I'd watch the first race and then see what the game really is.
That's what I tend to do, yeah.
Because there's been we were discussing before we came on, I'll just keep it really brief. Chepstow last night was good to firm, good in places for race 1, good to soft, good to soft, good in places by race 2, and it didn't rain in between. So anyone betting in race 1 was, shall we say, politely misled.
Misled. Mizzled.
Yeah. So watch the first race if you can to see what the actual going is before playing your money. That's my advice of the week. Right. In that case, have a good weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Have a beer for me if you're having a barbecue, and we'll be back next week.
We will and all. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Post Racing, the site for winners.